Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So till now we have discovered inheritance and we have also discovered polymorphism, correct? So we have discovered the first two topics, that is inheritance and polymorphism in object oriented programming concepts. So now the thing is that is remaining is encapsulation and abstraction. So we'll see what does both of this concept mean. So let's get started first with encapsulation. So with the name itself, what do you mean by, or what is the first thought that comes into your mind after looking to this word encapsulation or a word encapsulate? What do you mean by encapsulate? Do you get any idea? Which means like you are encapsulating or binding something or wrapping something inside a container, correct? Or inside a capsule, correct? So let's say this is the capsule and you are encapsulating things inside this, which means, and why you are doing this? Because it makes the thing inside it safer than the outside world, correct? So we can relate the same concept in Java or any such OOPS concept, correct? Or whichever programming language that follows OOPS. So encapsulation is one of the concepts that we'll get to know about the OOPS, correct? Yes. So now encapsulation, as I said, we can also relate it with our real world example, that is wrapping a data inside a capsule or wrapping a data so that it doesn't get harmed by the outside world. So the same goes for encapsulation concept in Java, or I'll just tell you that OOPS concept is same for all languages. Okay, yeah, there might be some exceptions, but the concept that I'm trying to say is inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, abstraction are same. There might be some variation in code, or there might be some limitations or advantages or restrictions, but the concepts are same. All right, so we need to wrap a data. Now question is why? Actually encapsulation, we can say that hiding data or data hiding. All right, so how can I hide the data? By wrapping it inside a capsule. Together we can see we are wrapping the data together inside a capsule, correct? So this is something called as encapsulation. Now the question is, how does it get achieved, correct? So what is a data? Let's say this is a student class. What is the data of a student? The data is name, or let's say contact number, correct? So these are the two data of a particular student. Now you need to protect this data so that it doesn't get harmed or doesn't get tampered by the outside world. Or, and over here, what do we mean by outside world? The other classes, correct? Or the third party classes, correct? So we need to wrap this data together, or we need to bind this data, correct, so that it doesn't get harmed, or we need to protect this data, we can say it like this. All right, so now let's see how we can protect it. So do you know anything? So let's say like name and phone. Do you know anything that how can you protect an entity? Or let's say over here it is of type long, over here it is of type int. So do you know, let's say I am having a method, okay, do you know anything that you add over here so that it doesn't get accessed by other classes? You make it private, correct? So the same way you can make this data members as private as well, correct? So if I make the first one private, which means this name won't be accessible to anyone outside this particular class, which means we have done the encapsulation for a particular member or particular unit, that is our name. Now for making phone secure, we can also make it private. So like this we have performed we can say 50% of, or I can say that 100% of encapsulation. I have encapsulated my variables inside a capsule, that is our class, and now this variables or this data won't get spilled off my class, off my capsule, correct? Because no one else can either retrieve the data nor it can change the data, correct? All right, so now let's try this out. So let me have a string name and long phone. This was the kind of code that we used to write previously. So let me create another class, test. Yes, so now inside the test, let me declare the main method. And can I create the object of student? Yes, we can. If I say system.out.println as dot, see, we can access that particular name. For now it will be null because we haven't initialized it inside my student over here, correct? So it is null for now, but then too we are able to access, we can access that particular name field. We can also access the phone field. So see, I didn't even knew the name of my particular field, but using this id, as soon as I use the dot operator, I get the exposed field, that is a name and the phone, which means it is not safe, correct? It is not safe outside the class, because if this class test can, you by using a dot operator, can access this particular field, so let's say as dot name, so it can even change it by using the equal to operator, correct? Like this. So the name for this particular object will be changed for this particular s, correct? So this is how, this is not protected, this is not secure, because I can directly access it. I don't even have to do any other thing, I just can easily point out this particular variable. So this doesn't makes our code or our data member, that is the name and the phone, secure. So how can I do this? We had already discussed this. Let's make it private. Over here, if I make it private, will it work? Definitely. Now over here, see, can you see, we get an error, the field student.name is not visible. Now this s cannot change it from the test class, because as I said, the name field is kept encapsulated within the student capsule, correct? So this test capsule, even by creating a student object, cannot initialize or cannot invoke it directly, or for now it cannot even invoke it indirectly as well, correct? Because there is no other way of declaring a private variable, correct? So I hope till now it is clear to every one of you that how do we encapsulate a data. So over here, what we did, we made name as private, so we encapsulated name, then we made private phone, which means we also again encapsulated phone. So we are encapsulating one by one, each entity one by one. So now the capsule is student, you all know this, and student have name and phone as the members, and which are safe. No one else can go inside this capsule because they are made private, correct? All right, so now the question is, then how can I initialize this particular name, or how can I retrieve this name if it is only accessible to the student class, or if I want the data of the student from other class, how can I access it? That doesn't make any sense. If I make everything private inside it, then that doesn't even make sense for declaring this class, because I cannot even invoke a single member. So the best practice that we follow is we provide getters and setters. We'll see how do we create getters and setters, do not worry. All right, so now what do you mean by getters? With the name itself, it will be getting something from our class. So for now we are declaring getters for student class, so it will get something from our student class. and what it will get? It will get the members that are been encapsulated. So I have encapsulated name, but now by using a getter method I will retrieve them. So let me define a method inside the student. All right, so let's just roll back to a student class. Now if I want to create a method that will return this name, what will be the return type of this method? Definitely string, because it will be returning the name. So let me name it, for now let me name it the ABC for now. All right, then we'll change. Okay, and let me make it public because I want this method to be accessible to anyone. And now this returns name, correct? This is that easy, am I right? So let me declare it public, and the return type will be definitely string because it will return our name. And for now I'll make it as ABC, and then we'll see what is the best practice. Correct? Yes. So now instead of directly pointing to that, what I can do is I can say ABC. For now it will be null because we haven't initialized it yet. Correct? Yes. So now how can I create a setter? What do you mean by setter? Setter, with the name itself, now you can suggest that setter will, we are creating it for a student class, so it will set a value for a particular member inside the student class. So it will be setting a particular value. Now what value we need to set for now? The name value. So if you want to set any value, you need to pass it inside the parameters, correct? So what kind of parameter you will give? You will give a string parameter. For now I'll name it as m, and this now this will be a method. So let me say xyz, and there is no need to return because it will just set it, correct? So I'll do it like this, correct? And what I will do is name is equals to n, and this way I'll definitely set the particular name. So let me try and declare this, and then we'll try to figure out the later concepts. Public void, and why I am making it public? Because it must be accessible to anyone, because this is, if I don't make it accessible to everyone or to anyone, which means I'm just unnecessarily creating a class who cannot be even, like, who can't even get accessed by any other class. So there is no sense of creating any such class. String n, and I'll say name equals to n. Am I right? So now first what we'll do is we'll set its name. So x dot s dot xyz. I'm just making it a little bit confusing, because if it doesn't get confused, you won't understand it better. Right, so let me run this. Yes, so can you see what I did is over here I invoked the setter method, correct? I invoked the setter method, I passed my name over here, and then it set the value for the s.name. But yes, s.name cannot get accessed directly, correct? Now how can I access it? I can say s.abc, because this is a getter method, correct? And this is a setter method. So we are able to set and get our particular member using the getters and setters, because we had made them public, and we are not directly contacting with our name field. We are contacting it with a person or with a method in between. So now let me tell you the best practice that you need to follow while declaring a getter and setter. So getters and setters are usually, or I can say that are always declared for a particular field that you want to access or set, correct? Over here this abc is a getter for name, so it should be named as get then the variable name. So now can you tell me what will be the getter for this phone? just type it in the chat box. I'll just explain the getter name for this name field. So how will you name the getter for this particular name variable? You will name it as get and the variable name, that is name. So this makes sense, correct? So now even if you don't have, like, even if you haven't seen the code, then to you know that yes, the person is a good, like he has a good writing practice in code, and he would have definitely named it as get name if I want to access the name field. Even by not even looking to this particular class, I can judge that it will be definitely like this. So this is the best practice while declaring a get for a particular variable. So now again for set, this is not a good name. For setting, again you need to set this field. So now set variable name. So this is the best practice that you need to follow. So for name, it will be set and name. And now again, when we were learning constructors, we have saw that over here inside the parenthesis we used to give the field equivalent, or see, this name and this name was same when we declare a constructor, because it makes us easier to read our code. So over here as well, I'll name it as m, and over here what we'll do is we'll use the this keyword. So this is just for all this concept, all this stuff, the best practices are just for making it readable and more predictable as well. Correct? Yes. Am I right? So now let me make the necessary changes and then we'll proceed. Get name, correct? Over here we'll name it as set name, and let's make it as name, and over here name, and over here this dot name. Correct? Now does it work fine over here? No, because we need to call the set name over here and the get name over here. See now how readable this code is. Previously it was ABC and XYZ. That doesn't even make any sense, correct? So always try to define a method and a variable that is much more readable. It should define that what your method does. Over here get name defines that it will be getting the name or it will be returning the name, correct? And even the set name, it is also more predictable, also more understandable, that it will be setting the name field. And you all know that for setter you need to pass a string, because this is the one what you need to get, what you need to set for the name of that particular object. So I hope it is clear to every one of you till now. So now let me quickly write the getter and setter for phone as well. So yes, you have written the correct name for the getter and setter for phone. So let me copy that, phone, and it will return phone, and set, sorry, it is set name, correct? I'll make it a set name over here, phone, and it will be accepting a long field, correct? Yes. So do you have any doubts? Yes. So in Eclipse as well, what you can do is you get predefined. Don't we have the phone variable? All right, we need to change this as well. So in Eclipse as well, we have predefined features like that will auto generate these getters and setters. So if I just delete this, what I can do is yes, so in the source I will say generate getters and setter. I'll choose the field whose getter and setter I need to create. All right, and now if you just want to generate the setter, you will just say set select getter or if you just want to select the setters, you can select setters, or over here you can just check mark or uncheck mark it. So if I just do generate, see, it is the same thing. So this just makes our code or like coding much easier and faster as well. So like this you can have 20, 30, 40 variables like this. So at that moment of time you don't have to create each getter and setter by your own. But now you see, even Eclipse follows the best practice that we have discussed, correct? So the shortcut for this is like, for over here, like in Mac you can use option command S and you will just go reach out to this particular option field and you can just say generate. And in the Windows as well, I guess it is Alt Shift S and then just click the R button. Alright, yes, I hope it is clear to everyone that how you can generate the predefined or the auto generate the getters and setters for a particular class. Now the question is, my test class can easily set the name as well and can easily get the name as well. That doesn't make any changes. You just had written a few extra lines of code. Instead, what you did was previously was also the same, correct? Wrapping it in this is out or initializing it. Again, this works same like this. So why I have created the getters and setters? Your point is correct. So the first point that I will tell you is, previously when I was saying s.name, I was directly communicating, I was directly pointing to the memory address of this name, correct? But now I am not even like the memory address is not known to our s over here because it is pointing to set. Am I right? Other advantage, if I delete the set methods from a student class, what will happen? Our class, our name and phone can never get written, which means we had made it read only. The class is read only. I cannot write the name and phone because the set method is not there. Setters are not there for these two fields, which means I had made it read only. So this is one flexibility, correct? Or if I just delete the getters and just declare the setters, what will happen? I would have made it write only classes, correct? Because we didn't have getters at that moment. So this is the other flexibility that we get. So let me say over here, if I just move down over here and let me delete the setters, or let me comment it out. Yes, now I cannot set names, correct? I cannot set because there is no setter provided. So I can just get the names. Am I right? Or if I just delete the, just a second, if I just delete the or just comment down the getters, which means I had made my file as write only, correct? So I cannot get any field, which means I can write the fields but I cannot read the fields. So this is again advantage, correct? This is the another advantage that we get using the getter and setter. The other advantage that I will explain you, not as such, it is not a best practice, but then too I'll explain you that you can add your own validations. So let's say if name dot length, so the value that you want to set, before setting you need to validate it. Okay, so if name dot length less than 3, what you will do, you will say system dot out dot println, please provide a name having length greater than 3. Else what you will do is you will just initialize the variable. So now, yes, over here, now the variable Rohan over here has the length ROHN, has the length of 5, which means it will move down to our else part, it will initialize it. But now if I say only R, Okay, if I say only R over here instead of Rohan, if I say R over here, what will happen? This R length is less than 3 because R length is only 1. Let's see what happens over here and then we'll discuss that. See, it says that it just moves down to the if part because R length is less than 3, so it will just print this, correct? So it says that please provide a name having length greater than 3, and now it has not been set because, as I said, this was the validation. If the validation fails, I am not supposed to set it, correct? So that doesn't get set for that particular value. So yes, you can add your own validations as well. So I hope it's clear to every one of you till now. All right, so now encapsulation is completed, correct? And now you won't get any doubts in encapsulation as well, and now you can explain the interviewer as well in a very good way. So encapsulation means encapsulating single units. Over here we were encapsulating single units but one by one, correct? So we were having a name field, then we had a phone field. So let's say you have 3 more fields, then you need to make 3 other fields as private as well, and then you need to create the getter and setter for them as well. So which means you are doing encapsulating one field at a time, correct? You cannot do it for whole, am I right? So encapsulation means wrapping single units, or what I can say that securing or hiding or encapsulating. You can use any word of this, okay? Encapsulating single units. Just keep this word in mind, single units, because now we'll see abstraction, and abstraction is a kind of confusing concept. So for now we'll just learn the abstraction concept. There might be some additional feature that could have came in Java 8 or higher version. We'll see that in a separate video. Like after the end of this course, I'll just create some videos like for especially for Java 8 features. I'll explain some features of Java 8, then I'll have a video for Java 11 and so on. All right, so do not worry about like if we don't cover any such concepts for now, because if I make the introduction to such concepts, it will make it difficult to understand, because for our today's session the main agenda is learning the abstraction in a better way. All right, so now let's see what do we mean by abstraction. So in simple term, abstraction is also hiding data, or it has been also said that showing only necessary stuff but hiding the internal working, correct? So now I know that doesn't even make any sense. That's completely fine. Let's learn this. So previously I was encapsulating my data, correct? The name and the phone field. Over here in the encapsulation I was doing one unit at a time, correct? So while in abstraction I don't go one by one, I'll just encapsulate the complete class or a complete interface. Do not worry about the interface. All right, so what happens? I am not encapsulating fields one by one, but now let me tell you that abstraction is also hiding data, but as a whole. Encapsulation was with a single unit, correct? And we'll at the end we'll see the difference between encapsulation and abstract classes as well, so do not worry about this, correct? So abstraction, hiding data. Now we'll see two ways of extracting data, and then we'll see how actually the implementation or what is the actual use of abstraction. So there are two ways. First way is abstract classes by using abstract classes, and the second way is by using interface. So we'll see each one of them. So let's get started with the abstract class, and then we'll move to interface, and then we'll learn the difference between the abstract class and the interface. All right. Okay. So abstract class, we'll see how do we declare an abstract class, what is the use of it. All right. So I hope that you do not have any doubts till now, and if you have any doubts you can just ask me. Okay. So yes, so abstract class or abstraction shows the essential stuff. It hides the actual logic or actual internal working behind the scenes. So you would have already seen some examples of sending SMS. I know that doesn't even make any sense. Like, it has been said that okay, if you are building a SMS sending application, you will just show that send SMS, and you won't show the how the SMS is actually being shared or how the data is actually being shared. Now by this, that doesn't make any sense, like how you will code it, correct? So now I'll explain you it in much detail, and I'll try to explain it in a easier way. All right. Yes. So first of all, a abstract class is a class. Let's say I have a abstract class. So first of all, how do you declare a abstract class? Previously, how do you declare a class? You will say class and the class name. So let's say animal, the same, or okay, let's say animal only. This is the way that we used to declare a class. So to make it abstract, what you have to do is you just have to add the abstract keyword. Now by adding the abstract keyword, what happens? Which means I am encapsulating, or I can say that I am abstracting the particular class. All right. We'll be going in a slow way. We'll go gradually and we'll understand it. So I had made a animal class as abstract. Okay. So now in an abstract class, I can have n number of abstract methods. Now question is, what do we mean by abstract method? How are they initialized? Why do we need them, and where do we need them? Correct. Where we know we can declare it inside a abstract class. How do we declare the abstract method? How do you declare a normal method? So let's say you declare a normal method as run. Okay, this is the way you declare a normal method, correct? And then you have the curly braces. Before this you give the return type, and then you give the access modifier. So the same way you can do it for declaring abstract class. You just have to add the abstract keyword, correct? So this is a abstract method. So as I said, abstract classes or abstract, the thing is used for just showing the abstract stuff, not showing the internal working, just showing the essential stuff. So run, yes, run by the name itself, it suggests that okay, run or running or something like that. Yes, so this is the only stuff that I need to show to the user. I don't want to show that yes, he will be using this much of bones for running or something like this, correct? This much of calorie will be burned and something like this. I just want to emphasize on this, and this signature does it well. So I don't need to have anybody, because as I said, all of this will be the internal workings, correct? So I won't have the curly braces. I won't have the method bodies. The curly braces defines the method body. So I won't have curly braces for a particular abstract method. So now, can you see the code of it? You will say no, you haven't written it, correct? You are right. I have not written any code for this particular method, but yes, I had made it abstract. So now, to be honest, what I can say that abstract classes cannot do anything by their own. We'll see other ways as well, but yes, they are not doing anything by their own. They want someone to implement them, or they want someone to extend them, because this run method will show, yes, it will show the user that, hey, yes, there is run, okay, but the internal working is not defined. So there need to be a class that extends this animal and that overrides this run and gives it some functionality. Okay, so that is the internal working, and this is something called as abstraction. I know it won't be clear. Let me try to create the animal class over here, and then it might be understandable to all of you. Okay, so let me make it abstract. Do we get any error? No, because abstract is also a keyword. Okay, now as I said, I'll declare a public abstract void and run. Correct? See, can you see? As soon as they define a body to it, we'll get an error, because abstract method doesn't need any body, because they are abstract. They are just for showing it that I am run. I don't want to show the internal logic, because it will be given by other class that will be extending me. I hope it is clear to you. Yes, so this is our run method. Yes, now this doesn't make any sense, correct, because that doesn't have any body. It is of no use. The animal class is of no use. But now if some other class, let's say a class called as horse, yes, this horse extends animal. It is also, animal is a class, so you will be definitely extending it, though it is a abstract class, but it is a class, so we'll use the extend keyword. Over here we are following the inheritance, but now can you see the error over here? What does it say? It says that the type horse must implement the inherited abstract method animal.run. So now let me explain you something. Wherever, okay, it is not specific to this, wherever you have abstract methods, okay, they make a contract. Over here we have a abstract class have a abstract method, or have n number of abstract method. So now they make a contract. They say to any of the class that extends them. So let's say over here horse extends animal, horse extends animal. So now the animal is an abstract class, which means it might have, let's say, n number of abstract methods. And so animal first say, hey, before extending me, you have to promise me that if you are extending me, you need to give the body to my all the abstract methods, because they don't have body. The body should be given by the one that will be extending them, correct? So they don't have any body. So now horse will say, all right, I promise that I will give the method body to your unimplemented or abstract methods that doesn't have any body. So if horse had made a promise, it has to keep the promise, correct? So over here I need to override it, correct? Because to give the property to the run, to give the body to the run method, what I need to do is I need to write the same signature, which means I am overriding it, correct? So I need to override it. All right, so let me do it. Add unimplemented method. Now can you see the error is gone? Now yes, the animal says that, hey, well done, you have kept the promise that you have given to me. You have given some body, let it be empty body, but yes, you have given the body to it by overriding it, correct? So I am overriding the run, correct? So over here what I'll say is system.out.println running inside the horse class, correct? Now if I say main, and if I have horse, I'll just create the object. I hope you getting this. Yes, so now can you see over here we have this stuff. So to the viewer we only have, see, for the viewer what we have shown, we have shown the run, just this. Like your question will be how you are showing. No, we don't have to bother about that. Like there is a place in my program that I will show that yes, the horse will run, that's it. I am not showing anything else. The animals, all the animals will run, and now you know that horse is an animal. See, the horse, animal are the name that you will give to make it more readable, correct? Now you are just showing that it will run, you are not showing that how it will run. The body is not given at this moment, correct? Yes, so I hope it is clear to you till now. So body is given by, we can say, the subclass, and this is a contract or a promise that the subclass has to keep, correct? So if there is a, my question to you is, if there are 8 abstract methods inside the animal class, it is obvious that they won't have any body. So if my horse class is extending the animal class, will the horse class have to override all the 8 methods? The answer to this is yes, because as I said, what is the promise? The horse says that all right, I will extend you. You means animal class. I'll extend you. Hey animal, I'll extend you. But in return, like it says that I'll take your property, I'll inherit your property, but in return I'll just give all the bodies. I'll give method bodies to all the 8 abstract method or all the n number of abstract method that are not implemented or that doesn't have body at your in your class, because they are abstract, correct? And as soon as it keeps this promise, as soon as it gives the body to all the abstract method, the error will be gone. So I hope it is clear to all of you. So this is a kind of confusing point where we get confused in abstraction, like why do we need implementation and all this stuff. And yes, now we are abstracting the functionality of run. So previously what we were doing, we were hiding the name field, correct? It was a field, but over here we are hiding a functionality. So yes, definitely functionality is bigger than a particular field. So over here we were having a single unit, correct? But over here we are wrapping the complete functionality or the complete class, because we are making it abstract as well. So now the question is, can a normal class have a abstract method? Let me delete this. Can you see we get an error? See, now the question is, abstract method doesn't have bodies, correct? And it can be stored only within the abstract class or interface. Do not worry about interface. Alright, so you cannot have abstract method within a normal method. Now the question is why? We know yes, we cannot have it, but the question is why? See, there is no contract between normal animal class and a horse. So it should extend it without giving any error. But now as we said that, then there is no sense because it contains the abstract method. So the abstract method, if the abstract method comes into the picture, there need to have a contract, so there it should be always a abstract method. See, the contract or the promise stuff is just used by me, it is not any official documentation. I'm just explaining you by using the contract or the promise words, so that you get a better understanding of all these concepts. All right, yes. So now I hope you understand abstract, the abstract class till now, and the abstract methods as well. See, there is no need of declaring 10 abstract methods and giving implementation, because now you know the concept, you can implement it by your own, and if you face any difficulties, I am there to help you out. Correct? So now let's see the further process. So now the question is, can I have normal methods? Normal, or like we usually say concrete methods. Can we have a normal method inside the abstract class? Let's try and define that. Public void normal. I'm just making it as a normal naming. Yes, we don't get any error. Correct? So is there any need of contract for this normal method to get implemented? Running inside animal class. See, now the normal method is not abstract. As I said, the contract works only for the non-implemented, the non-body methods. It has a body, then there is no need of overriding it, because it's up to the user, it's up to the subclass, the horse, whether he wants to override it or not, but it is not mandatory. But for overriding run, it is always mandatory, because you need, it is a contract, you need to define the body to that particular variable. All right, so I hope it is clear to everyone that we can have our normal methods as well. See, we don't get any error if I say h dot normal. It works because it is inheriting it, and we have seen the inheriting concept. Correct? All right, so now the question is, why do we need a normal method inside an abstract method? So over here, the run, the eat, yes, so these are the functionality that might be different for different like for different animals, for different creatures, but there should be like have skin is a kind of obvious thing to all the animals. Now you know that this is something that is too obvious, that doesn't need to get overridden. Correct? So you can use this like this. Correct? Have skin, which means you don't need implementation for this, because you know that this thing doesn't need any overriding stuff, because everyone will be having a skin, everyone will be having this particular, everyone will be having this particular feature, and this is the mandatory feature. Correct? So at that moment of time, you can have a normal or concrete methods. Can you have a static method? Yes, there's no issue in that. Correct? So now can you tell me the answer? Can a abstract method have normal methods or a concrete method? The answer is yes. So let me twist the question. Are all the method inside abstract class always abstract or supposed to be abstract only? The answer to this is no. So which means that I can have one abstract, 3 in concrete, 1 concrete, 3 abstract, or n concrete and n abstract, which means I can have all the methods abstract as well, or I can have sub methods as abstract and sub method as concrete, which means I can have 100% abstraction by declaring all the method abstract, or I can have 0% by not even declaring any abstract method. Correct? So I can, it's up to me how much of abstraction I achieve. That's the only reason why it has been said that abstract class are used for partial abstraction, which it gives us the feature of 0 or 100% abstraction. So I hope it is clear to everyone till now. So yes, so I believe that till now it is clear to everyone. Now I won't force you to learn interface today, because abstract class is something that you need to practice for today, because if you don't practice, you will get confused in interface and you will just forget things or just mess up ending with the mixing up the concept of interface and abstract classes. Actually, I was thinking of completing interface within the same lecture, but yes, now it is not supposed to be together for this moment, because we had covered a lot like encapsulation and abstract class as well. So now abstract class, you need to give it a try, you need to practice, try to define 10 abstract class, or sorry, try to define 5 abstract methods to non-abstract methods, or all the 5 abstract methods. Try to achieve 0% abstraction, 100% abstraction, or something between this range, so that you get the understanding of the abstract class. And the other thing that we need to know is, like, see, now tomorrow we'll see that abstract method cannot be instantiated. Now the question is, what is this? We'll see this, do not worry. Okay, we'll see abstract classes can have constructor. So for now we just gave a quick brief about abstraction, but now we'll again see tomorrow that what do we have other features of abstraction. But it's better to learn this much today, because if we complete if we take the complete stuff today, it will be very confusing. But once you practice this much of stuff, it will be easier for you to understand it tomorrow. Okay, we'll see that it can have final methods as well, and there is no doubt in that. Like as I said, they can have normal method, and normal method can be final, so no issues in that. Okay, and you know that it should be declared with a abstract keyword. So now the only thing that is remaining regarding this is this and the constructor part. All right, so can you declare a variable inside this? Definitely yes, you can declare a variable as well. Okay, so can I say system.out.println h.a? Yes, it works. So you can declare variables as well. So now, all right, let me try to instantiate it. What do we mean by instantiation? Creating objects. So can I create object of this animal? Let me try this. Animal constructor stuff we are not going to learn it today, because it will be a little bit confusing. See, we get an error, cannot instantiate this type. And as I said, instantiation of a object happens at the runtime, which means the right hand side. So you can have anything at the left hand side, let it be abstract class or anything, but at the right hand side you should have the compatible type, and the animal is a abstract class and you cannot instantiate it. So abstract class cannot be instantiated, correct? Now the question is why? So the reason why it cannot be instantiated is, what is the need of abstract class? The first need was making thing abstract by don't giving the bodies, making some declaring some abstract methods inside it, correct? Yes. So I was like, I didn't give any curly braces to this, which means I didn't give any body to this. So there might be 100% abstraction, and as I said, we had to give some statement, we had to give a law that works in each and every scenario. So if I say my animal class should be instantiated, which means let there be 100% or 0% abstraction, it should work in all the scenarios. So let's say we have 100% abstraction, all the methods are abstract in my animal class. this is an example, correct? We are just imagining it. So let's say all the methods inside my animal are abstract. So will it make any sense of instantiating it? Because why do we instantiate it? To get a property to a particular object. Let's say student S or student S1, correct? We have two object of student class and it is being declared like this, correct? Yes. So now S and S1 have some properties. There might be 10 methods, but over here, if a animal is a abstract class, which means there might be a scenario that it doesn't even have any code. It will just have method signature, and that doesn't make any sense, correct? Because empty method doesn't need to get acquired to a particular object. So it has been declared like the general statement that is being given, that the animal or the abstract class cannot be instantiated, because there is no sense of instantiating a class that have methods without any bodies. So I hope it is clear to everyone till now, and we'll again recap this in tomorrow's session, and we'll learn about this and interface as well, and we'll see how do we use constructor in abstract class. So I believe that it's clear to every one of you, and do you have any doubts? Then please let me know. All right, so we'll meet tomorrow at the same time, that is 7:30 evening, and till then please practice abstract class. What is abstract class? How do we use them? Please try to declare some abstract method and normal or concrete method within our abstract class as well. So try to practice this example, try to break the statements that we had made, and try to resolve some errors. And if you face any difficulties, please let me know. All right, so thank you so much for joining today's session. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time.